Hello everyone, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us whilst we resolve the issues. It seems like we are finally ready to get into Rondo. Long time coming for this one. Forget what you saw before. This is the real plane.
This is going to be the real match here on your screens. Rondo, new plane, new opportunities for these teams. He's going to head on over from Jadina City over to good old Minhu up northwest. Going to make his way all over Neox. Still, Yulin a bit of a stretch. We'll see if Aurora, just like earlier, we're going to be stranded as a solo team. But Neox itself going to get a little bit hectic at the start of this match. And again, if you guys just joined the show, thank you for joining the stream. And keep in mind that the point threshold for Smash is 118 points. All you have to do is tie it or overtake it, and you will be eligible to Smash here during these upcoming 6 matches. So though Neox, indeed, a lot of teams going to commit to it again. But looking at the split play of Vicious, they need to be careful of a potential drop again on that one solo player.
Okay, let's see if it goes any differently then. Already you can see hot drops coming in on Neox, and Refus makes good moves for one with a backup of Xiao. So Aurora looking to try and farm up as many points as possible early game. Bit of a different flow to things as last time, but there's no real flushes occurring for them, and they're giving up a lot of that potential stock early. So 2 players down with no trades onto the knocks they got. They can pick up their teammates, so it results in nothing off the initial gambit for Aurora's duo.
Yeah, I don't know why they sent it inside of here. It's an area they don't usually play into, so they're not as knowledgeable as other teams that drop there all the time. So that was a bit of a risk taken up, and they will take the 2 players down. Though, over on the other side of the map is going to be MIRACL Esports. Our continuous bridesmaid, never the bride, yesterday got 3 second places in a row, Jackie. That was absolute mad from them, not able to quite convert in the end, but still insane amounts of consistency from a team that I would call was an underdog in this tournament. Didn't really expect them to be close at the very top of the rankings, but those back-to-back-to-back second places put them back in the conversation somewhat. We'll see if they can try and get some big pointers. As TT Project, also usually a team that's very passive, but they want to get in the smash zone early here, Jackie. And taking the fight in Neox is a good plan. We'll see if it's going to pay off.
Yeah, will they be able to convert on this one? Meanwhile, you got Icy there falling to R-Star over on ARCRED, with Koa also being hit upside the head. So it's an uncomfortable start for the Vicious, down to just a duo on the periphery of all this commotion that's occurring. Fist just waiting for that run up the stairs, trying to pre-fire and see if he can bait them in. There goes the duo though, testing the waters. It's a good hold. Oh, even doubles up, looking to see if he can full flash onto this and make a boatload of points to start this one off, with a backup arriving as well. Rest of TT Project there in position, quick to grab the loot and look to see what more they can do. Ozarox going down in the meantime as they throw bullets over towards TGM. It's all happening in Neox.
This is great for TT Project because they do get access to those 2 death crates, and they were a little bit stranded here on the eastern edge in that one building, so they were quite low on the loot side of things, but no, the loot just comes right back to them. So they're going to be happy about that trade-off. You can see also in the elimination feed a few more eliminations coming on through. It's going to be Effect here, picked off by Champions. And actually, that's on the complete other side of the map, Jackie, meaning TT Project are down to a trio in Neox Factory. This is going to get a bit dicey here, actually. Well, actually, no way. It's Champions over here. They also have a split player demo near Rinjan. Okay, I was getting confused. That's the thing about the 3-1 split. You look at the map feed, you can get a little bit confused as to what's really happening. As the Tomek does find himself 1 player of Afterlife, as they tend to go on that sweeping motion from the eastern side inside of Neox. Relatively late once the fight calmed off a little bit, which we are at that stage. TT. Did get the revive on their member, as Ozarox going to get cornered with the JS9. It's just not going to work out. Champions got to make sure they keep the full squad alive. That was their biggest issue the entirety of this tournament, and so far, no, even here on Rondo, they can afford to take the casualties because they do have a reset player in Ringjiang, but still, we need to see that full man squad ready to dominate in the later stages.
They've got to stay alive and get their HP top backed up, as it's all about the longevity on the day for them, realistically. And for TT as well, with how damn good they looked on their consistent run throughout Erangel for taking chicken dinners, if they can actually get enough elims and placement points on this one to break that 118-point barrier, it would be a big boon for them, and realistically could be one of the higher chance conversion teams to actually close it with the smash ruling. So let's see if they can survive through the onslaught that's going to continuously come their way. Champions next to test them. Good lineup on the nade from Atomic. Lives up to his name as he blows them away through the window and shuts down another man. With how weak they are, they could quickly fall though, and Fleek catches line of sight as they cross the road.
I'm very confused as to why champions are committing. If you look at their loot, they had no meds. They were all on about a quarter HP, a fifth HP. They have nothing to work with, and yet they're looking so adamant on committing to this engagement. Genuinely surprised as to what the reasoning is behind that. Though, Afterlife, this is typical Afterlife gameplay, going for the third party push. That's a nade, though, looking good onto Zerich, right on the money. Gonna send him right down on his knees into submission, as now looking to make the crossover, join the skirmish inside of Neox. Things are getting a bit dicey, but at least champions were able to find some kind of meds. They did get some players back in a healthy condition. So now it's going to be Fearless with the S12K and Keynote. The incredible duo, as Afterlife also involved, and 3 teams in the same building, Jackie. It is getting a little bit hectic.
Yeah, it is getting a bit dicey out there with how this one's being played out. I mean, GOAT team going down as our first squad in the entire game is not what I expected to kick things off here, game 1 on Rondo. So that is going to be a sight for sore eyes for the teams beneath them. Hell, even potentially for the teams above them. It's kind of the dream scenario for Aurora and TT Project to starve out GOAT team from siphoning some of those points and give them a better chance to push themselves into a deep run on this game. Recall utilized there for the TT crew as they'll come back to a full four-man squad and drop back into the action. Kino with the attack onto Windy. It's a good knock. Let's see if they can flush out the rest of Afterlife and make some more points. They've always got that backup plan of Demo miles away as well. So if it does go southward, they can still recall and reset.
Look at the disparity in his loot. No more ammo left for a shotgun, but he had almost 400 bullets for his main AR. The loot is a bit unlucky here for Keynote, but Fearless, though, still looking good. Could share maybe some loot, some ammo for the shotguns, as they're looking for a quick reset in terms of HP, healing it up, but Zixi just camping the angle on the staircase. Good use of the S12K, scoped in with the iron sight. But Circle is not favoring Neox, by the way, so in the next minute, this entire area is going to be engulfed in the blue zone. The tick damage is going to be added to the equation. So if you're anyone here, even the likes of ARCRED that had a good start, right, they're looking pretty decent, got 6 eliminations for themselves. You've got to be careful, as though there's going to be a good engagement coming on through, able to find Keynote. Now it's going to be Fearless, the 1v1 with Zixi on the staircase, as the movement is still happening, but Zixi has yet to go for the full-on engage.
Fearless with the lean around the corner, wants to go for the swing in, couple quick gut shots, but no. Damn good they looked on their consistent run throughout Erangel for taking chicken dinners. If they can actually get enough elims and placement points on this one to break that 118-point barrier, it would be a big boon for them, and realistically could be one of the higher chance conversion teams to actually close it with the smash ruling. So let's see if they can survive through the onslaught that's going to continuously come their way. Champions next to test them. Good lineup on the nade from Atomic. Lives up to his name as he blows them away through the window and shuts down another man. With how weak they are, they could quickly fall though, and Fleek catches line of sight as they cross the road.
I'm very confused as to why champions are committing. If you look at their loot, they had no meds. They were all on about a quarter HP, a fifth HP. They have nothing to work with, and yet they're looking so adamant on committing to this engagement. Genuinely surprised as to what the reasoning is behind that. Though, Afterlife, this is typical Afterlife gameplay, going for the third party push. That's a nade, though, looking good onto Zerich, right on the money. Going to send him right down on his knees into submission, as now looking to make the crossover, join the skirmish inside of Neox. Things are getting a bit dicey, but at least Champions were able to find some kind of meds. They did get some players back in healthy condition. So now it's going to be Fearless with the S12K and Keynote. The incredible duo, as Afterlife also involved, and 3 teams in the same building, Jackie. It is getting a little bit hectic.
Yeah, it is getting a bit dicey out there with how this one's being played out. I mean, GOAT team going down as our first squad in the entire game is not what I expected to kick things off here, game 1 on Rondo. So that is going to be a sight for sore eyes for the teams beneath them. Hell, even potentially for the teams above them. It's kind of the dream scenario for Aurora and TT Project to starve out GOAT team from siphoning some of those points and give them a better chance to push themselves into a deep run on this game. Recall utilized there for the TT crew as they'll come back to a full 4-man squad and drop back into the action. Kino with the attack onto Windy. It's a good knock. Let's see if they can flush out the rest of Afterlife and make some more points. They've always got that backup plan of Demo miles away as well. So if it does go southward, they can still recall and reset.
Look at the disparity in his loot. No more ammo left for a shotgun, but he had almost 400 bullets for his main AR. The loot is a bit unlucky here for Keynote, but Fearless, though, still looking good. Could share maybe some loot, some ammo for the shotguns, as they're looking for a quick reset in terms of HP, healing it up. But Zixi just camping the angle on the staircase. Good use of the S12K, scoped in with the iron sight. But Circle is not favoring Neox, by the way. So in the next minute, this entire area is going to be engulfed in the blue zone. The tick damage is going to be added to the equation. So if you're anyone here, even the likes of ARCRED that had a good start, right? They're looking pretty decent. Got 6 eliminations for themselves. You've got to be careful, as though there's going to be a good engagement coming on through. Able to find Keynote. Now it's going to be Fearless. The 1v1 with Zixi on the staircase, as the movement is still happening. But Zixi has yet to go for the full-on engage.
Fearless with the lean around the corner, wants to go for the swing in, couple quick gut shots, but no full connection there yet. Let's see what more they can do. Will they run the risk of picking up their mate? Kino with a full res. Oh, forces him off. Dive back though. Fearless literally is, as he'll be able to win out on that one and shut down the push, still save his mate in Kino potentially, as look who's arriving to third party. Sneaking up, it's Misha with nades. Few thrown in through the window. Good chip damage. Looking to see if they can convert any more onto this. Misha will go back in. He's on the ground floor though, and they're up top. Oh, the scary prospect is the fact that Kino's so low. So as he dives through the window, he's exposed to Fleeke, and ARCRED snatch away those points.
Yeah, good start. Nice third party. Good timing. It's really good for them that the fact that the 2 teams fighting in this building were just so busy, focused on each other. And it just made it so much easier for them to just close that gap and snatch away some few early points, which, good to see. 6 eliminations. Sure, they have to go for the 3-man recall, but it's still good in a good start overall for this team that we know has potential, right? There's still a new blood poured in the scene, so I think that expecting them to win their first ever season like this is definitely a tough task at hand. Given time, who knows? This could be one of the strongest up-and-coming teams in the region. As now Circle Phase 2 did pop, and it's going to be centered up on Danqing, or as I like to call it, Parkour City. Aurora, dead center of the circle, with also Melaz, 1 player split away from the rest of Ozarox. So some good teams there looking to be taking up real estate very soon in this zone. As Misha, still stranded, as he's going to get surrounded by ARCRED. They've been really biding their time looking for this third party, and they will find it beautifully. That's their 7th elimination on board. Good start for the ARCRED squad. Actually, 8th elimination. I just counted it. An extra one was secured, so ARCRED off to an insane start on this map.
Yeah, it's big from them, mate. Taking down some notable names and being able to farm up some early points could be the dream scenario if we can have another ARCRED late game victory with this level of elims already being established early into the flow on Rondo, especially with, as we touched on earlier, GOAT team going down as our first squad here opens the door for definitely some of the other squads to get some good momentum. TT Project as well playing a blinder up to this point. They've already got themselves those 6 elims under the belt, so teetering incredibly close to actually being able to push over that 118-point barrier to start the day.
This is the best start you could have asked for TT Project. Though, 1 player is going to be insanely low. So you got to be cautious here. Still have one recall. Usually what we want to do is that player that has that extra life wants to be the one to initiate any engages, or at least be the one scouting ahead of the team. That is what you've seen usually with Aurora. Top in particular, he goes for the recall, and then he's the new frontline player. Something for TT Project here in this game would be very nice to see them commit to a very similar playstyle. As DG still got the 4-man, and used one recall, and they're going to be holding off a lot of the teams down southwest. The likes of 27 Plus and also Destine to Rise are going to get very close to their location. They've got a decent ridgeline to work with. But they definitely know where Destine to Rise are parked up. They got a massive spread, which shows to me an intent at least on gathering information. If they're going to convert that and actually fighting on D2R, that's a different question entirely. But not out of the realm of possibilities of this team to get at least close to the smash zone and being able to convert it in match 2 on Erangel. DG, we know they usually like to play center. They're not edge sweeping team. They love going center, Jackie, usually 2-2 split, holding down these really strong positions for the entire game. Here, they're going to have to change it up because the center is almost fully unplayable as it's just flat terrain.
Yeah, there won't be too much cover to actually keep you alive into these games. So it becomes a whole lot harder to play around. Here's the move down from DG77 though, as they want to go swift and try and get ahead of the rest of the crew. D2R taking shots towards them. Nomi playing behind the back of the boot there, but it's Prepod that gets the boot. Goes down to Bet. Nice readjustment. Ralph riding on over through the ridge. Nomi spots him. Can Nomi go big mode? That's the question. Decent damage with the AUG, but no full knocks yet. And he's starting to panic a little bit. Surrounded as the 2 vehicles crater over the top of him and absolutely squish him. So DG77 being dug into a very early grave.
Surprised they went for the split without some players on the ridgeline and some players on the low ground, because you just give in a bit of advantage point over to Destine to Rise. I think that was a good idea initially, but the moment the fight really comes away, you need to regroup on all the ridge or fully disengage. DG were just a little bit slow to respond in that situation. So yeah, we do get, as you say, Nomi completely squished by 2 vehicles. It was a Nomi sandwich. As over to TT Project, FE's already out of this game. Effect might be following in his footsteps. And as I say that, that is going to be game over instantly for that entire split of TT Project. What an unfortunate turn of events, and that is going to be the end of the line for them. A team that was getting so close to the smash zone, but here it will not be happening on Rondo.
No, not occurring, not yet. Gatekeep them for as long as physically possible. Maybe it's Aurora that will surprise us a bit later into this one then, with Goat and TT being taken down early on Rondo. Nadira on the move. Just trying to keep himself topped up with a quick few hits from the bandages, knowing that he's got to bypass another big name squad if they want to get back up towards center zone. This is Champions moving in. It's 27 Plus just ahead of them as well. We were highlighting way back at the start of the day how good Ruzen as an individual has been looking. Let's see if he can do anything here against the Champion squad. Pops back in the vehicle. Ooh, good shots down range from Kino. About half HP wiped off him there.
Got to be a bit cautious here with the Pico bus. Ruzen able to find a decent hiding spot, and actually it's really good. They are actually going to be in between the center of the circle and Champions, so this is going to be forcing Champions to all commit to the fight or go for a wide rotate to leapfrog 27 Plus. Big southern shift here on circle 4, by the way. Vicious dead center of the circle. This is kind of a lifeline that they were needing for the entirety of this tournament. They do only have the 3-man. That's Narvalo, who was taken out relatively early this match, which is quite unfortunate to see. But as long as you have Icy, there's still hope lingering. He's been the clutch machine of Vicious throughout the entirety of this event. Yeah, look, here you go. Have a good bit of view on the circle. But outside of that compound, realistically, you got a few ridges up northeast next to the roadside. But you have so much unplayable terrain here that you have to all commit some really early cars to kind of just crash them in rocks and trees to survive, and all put down early cover flares and create dips with nades. Compound-wise, there's a very small amount in this game, Jackie, compared to other circles. This is a terrible one for most of the lobby.
Yes, it's brutal scenes, mate. nothing comfortable for a lot of these squads here, and you can see the absolute sea of name tags in the distance with literally tiny divots to keep you out of falling over. A lot of pressure being applied onto 27 plus from shots from the side. That's going to be mad as well, taking hits onto Avalanche with Tommy going down. Glory goes in, looking to get gory with a shotty and see if he can convert these players into points, and the team will do just that. ARCRED up to 11 points here as they are climbing substantially in this lobby at the minute, especially if they can keep themselves alive and make this trio do work late game. It'd be really huge for them to start things off. Molodoy low, got to pop those meds. Butcher's in the front line behind the cover flares. And Mad yesterday looked super consistent in terms of placements. Can they survive through this fight?
This could be a very important fight between these two teams. If you do win it, you have no teams nearby. So you're going to be able to get a really good sight of where teams are positioned off the back of that, because they got very slight elevation, a bit of oversight on the rest of this zone. So a very big win for whoever's able to come out on top. Or they can both decide to disengage, but seeing their location, I think is going to be quite hard to not commit to that fight. Champions do spot that one player behind the hay bale. It's going to be destined to rise. Ralph. No, again, the guy is a clutch machine for this team. He's been having some really good moments in this tournament, but the blue zone, combined with the insane nades of Fearless, will be enough to put the nail in the coffin. The blue zone will claim his life in the next few seconds. Circle shift now is forcing Champions into the west, down a hillside, meaning a lot of teams could be looking their direction, so they've got to be very cautious here and time it right if they want to survive and make it to that top 10. As you can see, the elimination feed is lighting up. A lot of fights are happening up north and to the eastern edge. And then you have Vicious, clearly here, Jackie, on vacation mode this match.
Yeah, it seems like it. You've been able to just sort of keep their noses out of trouble after the opening moments and sit pretty more so towards center zone, just waiting for everyone else to come towards them later. Hard boy, though, quite the contrary. He wants to fight, he wants to scrap, and with nades primed, thrown towards AMIX, he's looking for an opportunity to deliver some deathly blows. Sees the head of Havlik there. Can't hit it with a weapon. Instead opts to throw the nade back over. They've lost Star, but they've still got this trio that's picked back up. 1-for-1 trade in close proximity as Glory attempts to save his mate, but it's all going wrong quickly. Fleek now has to play medic to get him back up so that this duo can still fight through the split from AMIX.
By the way, AMIX not taking any useless fights early game. This is the AMIX we wanted to see at the very start. Sure, here, encountering a bit of a hurdle in ARCRED, especially with the blue zone kind of forcing them into this fight. But they find Spike. What a good clapback from Glory in the dip, in the open. He should not be able to find that knock, and yet he does. He stands up and dominates. Default, our MVP contender of AMIX now stranded in the distance. It's still not game over. If they do get rid of this solo, they can go for the full team reset. They got 2 players up and 2 players knocked. The blue will have a different plan in mind. As now over to the POV of Aurora Gaming. They've been silent, slowly brewing a potion of success the entirety of this match. Can they deal with their potion? That is going to be the question, as they got a decent entry point up north. The thing is, they will have to wrestle with Ozarox to make that entry point possible.
Default with the org handles Glory. This delayed fight's been going on for so long, but it eventually ends with ARCRED getting 11 points on the game before they're taken down by the animals of AMIX. Ozarox still engaging versus Mad as well, with Aurora looking to potentially rock up to the party, arrive fashionably late, and steal away any of these potential points from a third party over the back of the ridgeline. Like you said, it's been quiet, but if they can still get a big finish, add some extra healing sprinkled on for good measure, then this could still be a dominant game from Aurora, one of the 3 squads at the minute that still even have 4 players alive. So a lot riding on a late game for them.
Yeah, a few teams do have 4 players. Ozarox, AMIX, 777, and also Aurora themselves. But that's mostly off the back of the low eliminations of them not getting any fights happening in Yulin. That is going to be a good knock, though, able to be found early on. Hopefully can be converted for themselves, as Ozarox here getting bullied out of position fully. Going on the low ground, trying to create a few dips to survive behind those rocks and trees, but even then the nades are just so strong. But look at the map feed. AMIX looking to third party. Aurora versus Ozarox. Sleepfrogging their way into the play zone, trying to hold them off on that high ground. This is a great turn of events. As now, they're going to be aware that the team is waiting for them to move their way into the play zone, so you've got to be a bit cautious. As instantly, Dog, good response. Putting the hover flare down to create some cover, and also keeping them hidden from the likes of AMIX in the play zone. There's some good use of utility. As that's it. Final player, Absolute, is going to be eliminated. Mad still getting 5 eliminations, so not a non-game. Able to get something on board. But now, top 7, meaning placement points are indeed going to be flowing the way of these squads. Who will be able to get the Big 10 here with this chicken dinner?
It's a big one. You want to grab your hands onto it and not let go, but for Ozarox, their chance on Rondo, well, that's finished off by the might of 777 on the reposition. So our squad's whittling down more and more. Champions AMIX, Aurora, the Vicious, 777 and Avalanche yet remain as our 6 teams scrapping to try get into a zone to earn some placement points on this one. Top though, he wants the E-limbs. Finds some damage. Good assist from Doc. Rosa ripped to shreds. So Avalanche's day is getting worse and worse the longer this goes on. Top's tapping away in the back line, and Doc's on the move, looking for a sideline angle. Or if he can catch whiff of them, that'll be an instant punishment from the elevated peak up here on the hillside.
And good to see Doc playing with the team. I think especially with Reefus yesterday on that Miramar win, he's having to play with the squad a lot more, and I love this approach of Doc. He gets a perfect opening knock onto Butcher, gutted right away, looking for that final straggler. It's going to be Molodoy. The man's been a beast in the past, though able to find himself. Reefus that goes a little bit too aggro, will be punished for his sins. But because of that, Molodoy just going far out into the blue. That is going to be 1 point denied away, but it doesn't matter. Aurora up to 6 here already so far, Jackie. 4 more points, and they're already in top 5, and they will be making it in game 1 in the Smash Zone.
Boy, oh boy, here we go. Big moves. This is impeccable scenes being displayed here, but just how far do they go with it? The slick moves. Long time coming on this first Rondo game, but they made us wait for greatness. That's what they're showing. AMIX just off towards the side, though, looking bettered with the temper aggression today. Will they be able to throw a spanner in the works back over towards Aurora's big finish? Looking to light them up. Bullets downrange, the vehicles detonate. That's an isolated Doc cowering behind the tree, but Top ain't scared. He'll punish back the Mini 14. Delivering swift justice over to AMIX as one man's down on his legs already, and he's already looking for more. Sees Redleg back over, tucked in behind the vehicle, Max. That's 777 panicking now.
If they make it to top 4, they officially make it in the Smash Zone. They will get enough placement points with the elims to actually make it, or just get an extra elimination, and you will secure your spot early, making in top 5, as top 5 does provide you 3 placement points. So they're looking hungry. They're playing it slow, which is smart. You don't want to do a mistake. You don't want to miss out by 1 point on the Smash Zone. So to be very, very cautious about their gameplay. Good angle onto 3TN, though. The car about to go up in flames. This Top is going to be relentless with the Mini 14. Good explosion. Going to be forcing 3TN to move slightly backwards to make sure he doesn't take the damage of that explosion. But still 5 teams alive. And especially Vicious have been very silent. They still have a trio. Did lose Narvalo very early on this game, but they still have the compound, meaning resources-wise, they should be looking very healthy in the finishing moments of this game.
They certainly should, but will they put it into practice? That's the question. Feels like there's been a bit of ring rust at times for this team, so hopefully they've been able to shake that off and get their focus back with the opportunity that's presented itself. I do wonder if for Aurora, if that potential pressure mounting will come back to haunt them. Will they buckle, knowing how close they are to getting into the Smash Zone? See you later, champions. All right.
Yeah, and that is it also. We do officially have Aurora in match 1 in the Smash Zone. They get the 6 eliminations. They get the 4 placement points from 4th place. They will be in that position where they could end the tournament literally in the following match. They don't need, technically, to go for the chicken dinner, but might as well send it, get some extra points in case we do go for all 6 matches today. That will still be helping you out significantly to make sure you make it to the PMGO Season 1 main event in Jakarta. There's also AMIX, their position not going to be in the zone anymore. They created a really good cocoon, a little bit of a nest here with these dips. The circle not going to be too kind to them as they're going to send 2 players on the forefront. Actually, 3 players on the forefront, it seems, straight to the ridgeline of Vicious. But Vicious, 6 nades, Doran can make it rain absolute hell on the heads of AMIX.
Shots on target, good moves. Doran punishing as he will take down Kavik. The cover flares come in slightly too delayed to provide the assistance that they needed. And this is Aurora being lit up. Default frustrated that they've been keeping them penned in for quite some time. And everyone will focus on Aurora now. Hit from both sides. They're losing a lot of their stock as 777 and AMIX punish them and create weakness for teams to abuse. This is the move up from the Vicious. Nades in. It's a great bounce. The detonation hits Havlik as the bouncing bettings go up. And Top gets his revenge on Default. Trade back over there, looking to see if they can steal any more points. Denied out by the Vicious that are looking absolutely ruthless. And 777 just trying to play a slower game, realizing that absolute war has broken out across the battleground.
I would say if you are 777 and you see Vicious taking casualties, it is time to go for the third party. Even Aurora technically could be going for that big push and go on the assault. The siege has yet to begin, but Warrior, he's getting close. He's in nade range. He hears the footsteps of Vicious. He knows where they're hiding. As Doran able to find himself Spike, that is going to be an extra member out for the count, and actually because of that, that's AMIX fully eliminated, making it in 4th position. Down to the podium on the first game is 777, Vicious, and a duo of Aurora in Zyol and Top. The center of the circle is favoring Zyol. 777 Vicious forced in a head-to-head fight. It's going to be a skirmish that could result in our teams taking home a chicken dinner if they keep every member alive. But if they do take casualties, if they do even just get knocked, that could be blood in the water for Aurora to push and snatch away game 1.
A brief moment of respite across the battleground then. The smoke's going down, teams using their ample supplies to try to top themselves back up for what could be a very explosive final fight here. 6 on the move with a scouting play. They've got vehicles for the quick rotate if they need it. Nades to play off as well to create some space for themselves. Koa peeks up, sees free TN. He wanted to deploy some quick smokes. Ooh, the launcher will at least deploy that one, giving them a little bit of space, but the move up could be good from the Vicious. Nades on target, Warrior dangerously low. A follow-up could blow him out of commission, and Doran looks to prime it slightly too far over. He'll reply with one of his own as he cooks a nade right back, and Aurora debating if they can get a third-party peek on this. It'd be Top from behind the vehicle with a Mini 14. We know how deadly he can be, but will he commit to the swing?
Are we going to have a stage 9 Mini 14 Elim? Well, apparently not with a Mini. No, he's going to go straight with the AUG. 3x scope locked and loaded onto Warrior. And the thing is, now Vicious, they see that on the elimination feed. They might want to try and even get more aggressive as Zyol way too far in the fight will get spotted and punished. That's going to be Icy to pick up that point. GG, well played. Up to now, double digit. Where was this Vicious on the first 2 days here, Jackie? The first 2 days looking terrible for this squad. And now they're going on that redemption arc. 10 Elims. 3 for Dorian, 4 for Koa, and 3 for Icy. They are looking good. They're back in full swing of things.
Yeah, complete change of confidence. Looks way better. But has it come early enough in the competition to give them a chance to get back up into that top 4 comfortably? That's the question. It could be a big point earner at least. 10 elims. Trying to get their fingertips on the 10 placement points as well. Top falls in the 1v1 as they'll take another elim. Doing it the hard way here are the Vicious. And it all comes down to the final fight then versus a weakened 777.
You could see Top was hesitant. Do I deny to Blue Zone? Do I go for the fight? He's like, screw it. I'll go for the fight. Win the smasher. And I do appreciate still the attempt, though. 777 pushed up, surrounded. But the nade is massive. It's 3TN. The double whammy is there on Doran and Icy. Though Koa stands tall, left in a 1v1 scenario. It's going to be 3TN, and he's going to be going on down. It is going to be your chicken dinner headed the way of our squad. It's going to be Vicious, unfortunately, not able to make it work out too much. It was down to the 1v1, but they will be getting your chicken dinner. What an insane way to start off day 3 for this squad.
An eruption there from the teammates. You can see the excitement all round as they're very proud of themselves to close that one down. There you go. Vicious coming at you swinging, as they will be able to deal some big moves on that one and get the celebration in. 777 close, but no cigar in the closing moments of our opening game. We'll have a look back at the highlights of the final blow. A lot of big talking points off of game one on Rondo then.
Yeah, I got a little bit confused at the end. I was like, wait, actually, who got it? It was down to the final shot, and it was very close, the POV swap. But that was still going to be looking good for Vicious. But that initial nade of 3TN literally unlocked the potential win. Then they were all stacked up. It really goes pinpoint in the middle of all three members. He even gets some damage down onto Koa, but Koa stands tall, does get himself that final knock and flush, and converts this into a massive chicken dinner here to kick off day 3. And Vicious wins 7th position before this game, right? Just behind the likes of ARCRED, Avalanche Team, and DG77. This game genuinely might just put them in top 5, and they could be in contention for that LAN event ticket.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We always assumed they would be one of our top 4 teams. So the fact that they've been floundering so much over the past 2 days, it was looking very scary. Where I was even saying, I reckon it could be cooked for a mate. I don't know if they will be able to make it in, but this is a way better display of what they can do. The truest test of Vicious that we've seen in a fair few days. So glad it's come now. Late is always better than never, with a big step up on that one. A 93 elim game Rondo that resulted in Aurora getting into the smash zone and Vicious mounting the beginning of their comeback to at least be within top 4 potentially come the end of the day.
Oh, we do have 100 knocks on that Rondo game. Not quite 100 eliminations, but 100 knocks, I will take it. As your game MVP, of course, in the background, he's just peeking over the ridge line. He will beat Koa, apparently, which not really too shocked. It is going to be part of the winning team too. I'm not sure if we have anyone else that could be actually a top fragger above the likes of Koa, but they got himself a central position very early on. I would even go to say, Jackie, very TT Project-esque, right? Getting central position, zoning teams away efficiently, just kind of focusing on getting to that true late game with almost a full squad. They did lose Narvalo early game, but still a really good showcase from them. And leaderboard's going to get really crazy, but now it could end at any point of today as Aurora do make in the Smash Zone. Next game, they're going to have a massive target on their backs.
Oh yeah, you will. You certainly will. Everyone's going to want to try and run you down. They're going to know if you get that victory, it's all over. For some of these teams,
except for those that like to go around Severny, maybe a bit of a stretch, even Primorsk for TT Project. You know the storylines, you know everything as to what you should be paying attention to on this game, and things are going to get dicey once again on the grassy pastures.
Yeah, will you be sliced up quick if you make mistakes? So bring your best, show us your A game, and leave no stone unturned here. Lot riding on this one then for the potential for the teams just within touching distance of getting into the Smash Zone, and of course for an Aurora that could be targeted and let it slip through their fingertips to close it early. GOAT team had a horrific start to the previous game, went out in 16th place a couple minutes into the action and got no points for their initial game of the day. Which is what you want to be doing when you're out there knocking people. Right then, let's kick it off. We go back in. Another game of Erangel gets underway. Game 3 starts here. Aurora, same prospect as last time, still have a chance to walk away with the W early today if they were able to get one max. Theoretically, from what we've got in the standings here, that would be Aurora, TT Project, GOAT Team, and the Vicious, all being able to make it through to the upcoming LAN event in Jakarta and stamping those tickets in our top 4. So that would be the teams if it ends here.
I mean, every other team outside of Aurora hoping for another northern shift just so Aurora can't convert this in a chicken dinner. As this is the exact same playing path almost we had as last game on Erangel. So it's going to be a Stolber down to Quarry / Primorsk. So great for GOAT team that will be headed over to their typical Stolber Kameshki split, almost dropping there more than Nova Ripnoya, which is normally their main drop location. So they just haven't had a true opportunity to make it there very often in the finals. And TT Project also headed towards Primorsk. Outside of this, drop locations should not be shifting whatsoever from what I'm really expecting. The circle is going to be very telling of the storyline, and Aurora going to have to dictate the pacing of their early rotation. If it's a big northern one, they've got to be quick, but no, it is going to be eastern, and there's still a portion of Military Island in play, so they couldn't easily survive and not go down early like last match.
Yeah, don't let it fall through your fingertips and give anything up super early. Although it's always terrifying me, mate, whenever we see them close by towards champions. It feels like an uncomfortable fight for either of these teams, but noticeably worse for Aurora. And I'm glad that they do opt to catch a little bit of movement in the back line there and decide to jump in the vehicles and create space. Don't stay nearby. Get over to where they feel more comfortable and could potentially actually have some nice playable space in the zone. Scary that it's TT Project down that side as well. Goat team going for the same drop last time up towards Stauber, as they'll have that late rotate down. We'll see if this will work out any different here. Similar opening play, everyone with their comfortable drops, but potential for a bit of a very different finish.
I was going to say, very lucky for Aurora that that car spawn was a 4-seater. If it, oh, back to the eco-tation, yes, getting the bikes back on board, getting to their loot locations for each individual. But yeah, lucky it was a 4-seater. If it was just a buggy or just a 2-seater vehicle, or even just a bike, and maybe champions catch them off guard because they were kind of looking in that direction next to the gas station. But no, they will be having a safe early stage. Very happy, though, that we do see 777 get an early elimination. This is a team in 10th position in the rankings, 87 points. But in the middle, outside of the top teams, really, in the middle of the rankings, Jackie, the point gap is so minimal that even a team like 777 could be back in the conversation. If they get, of course, we're talking to double digits minimum, they can jump an extra 3, 4, maybe even 5 ranks to those extreme situations. And this is a roster that we've both enjoyed. At least I know I've enjoyed some of their gameplay. A very big surprise here in some of these stages and some of these wins they've been able to accrue. So a good start with their elimination. A little bit of an ego boost at the start of that match.
Yeah, I think that would do wonders for them. It's like you say, they have been a very enjoyable team to watch. They've had some great highlights from the individuals to the overall team play, keeping us guessing at times as well with how deep they'd go into games. So nice to see them being able to find a little bit more stock on the opening moments of a game. Give you a reason to remember the 777 name the longer their run goes on here. Mad Esports yesterday were an incredibly fierce force, and again today we've seen little opportunities of that bubbling up as well, so maybe they can keep their fortunes favouring them. It's certainly been quite a rise from them the longer they've been competing throughout this tournament. About a week of games now, and they've used that in their stride to improve and do more work every time we get them on screen. So it's been lovely to watch their overall growth throughout the past week or so.
There's really been so many similar storylines throughout the entirety of PMGO ECA here. I mean, teams that had definitely slow starts, been able to rise through the tides of these games, get themselves some decent performances on board. And again, even though, sure, the spring season is very important because it dictates also how many PMGC points you're going to get, it's not impossible to get a sick comeback in full and actually kind of shock the world and take home one of those global event tickets. So don't give up hope, even if you had a bit of a slow and late bloom. There's still hope for the rest of the 2026 PUBG Mobile Esports season. Let's go team, looking at their rotation. Typical slow rotate away from Komeshki. Normally also Komeshki Stauber's got a lot of really decent car spawns on the roadside, so in terms of vehicles, they should be very healthy for majority of this match. And they're going to make a quick dash and maybe stopping on the outskirts of the Povka or Prison. And a lot of the teams are actually dead center. There's a bit of a stretch of teams from Yasnai Poliana down to Milta. The East Coast pretty much completely free, and GOAT team will have no neighbors for the very early game of this match.
Yeah, the GOAT team that can certainly achieve greatness if given an opportunity. So that'll be a nice opening gambit for them, letting them live comfortably and possibly find themselves some incredibly useful bits to play with. Potentially vehicle-oriented, potentially weapon-based. Subnovka as well here for Aurora still being comfortably looted as they can quite happily run down the clock. They expired at the 15-minute mark into our opening Erangel today. They won't want to make the same mistake twice, as they will be in position for now. Great team with a little bit of a scouting maneuver as well. They're in the vehicles and trying to make a bit of a run down the roadside. Fair few squads getting close together as well. Vicious, AMIX, D2R, the winners of the previous game, DG77, all amongst it with potential to start spotting each other. And then you've got to worry about the triple threat that's coming up down towards Pachinki's side in terms of TT Project, Champions and Ozarox. So a lot of room for this one to get quite explosive relatively quickly.
As we're talking about the triple threat near Pachinki, western side completely open. There's no teams gatekeeping school, apartment, Potato Hill, even the western edge of farm. So unless they really crash into each other mid-rotation, I don't expect any early squad wipes over to the west near Pachinki. Should be relatively safe. There's also George Paul. You can have Avalanche and Mad Esports going for their slow but steady rotate into the play zone. So we should be able to see them making it further into this match indeed. As Shelter will be the dead center here of Circle 1. Going to have a few teams in a decent position, but Destine to Rise, big fans of Shelter. They love going down in there, hiding the buggies in the lower portion of Shelter itself, and just surviving. They're like the moles of the lobby. If you don't know they're there, they will survive, and they will take home the podium. They're really good at it.
Yeah, dude, they love it. They love it. Sitting pretty inside their little mole hole and just waiting out all the competition until summer comes around. That's what we've seen a fair few times from that team. Will it be happening here, though? That's the question. Do wonder how things are going to go for Aurora once they get back into a position where they will actually have to play against other teams as well. Will their heads get a bit too big? Will the rot get to them? And will they crumble? And can they take this one in their stride, play a slower game out and be able to get themselves into a good position themselves? Collapse here from TGM, up close and personal towards AMIX as they drive by and a few shots are delivered on target. Sanic looking to get the lineup, but it doesn't look that great for either team. Effectively ending in a stalemate so far.
And this spot, Alamo, is not even in the play zone, so not worth it. But you know what? Maybe worth it now. When you get those initial knocks and a bit of damage onto AMIX, you create a bit of an advantage for yourself. Hoping to now kind of capitalize on this opportunity they created for their squad. It's TGM. Retro got a bit solo there. Default on the backline does get an angle onto him. We have yet to see any knock really coming through after that initial nade. Sanic now behind the door frame, cooking that nade, looking to chuck in CQC right to the face. That's a beautiful nade, very phallic vibe from 4 Thrives. You learn from the best. Generation going through the window. Kvik, what is going on? That's a big misplay. Easy pickup for TGM. Generation of Miracle, a miraculous run in this compound breach. Only losing Retro so far. It's a pretty decent dub, but getting overwhelmed. Sanic going solo once again. So many misplays individually from these two teams. Now, let's put in Misa trying to make it work out. Default a little bit too far in the open, but he still wins the fight. The one-on-one trade on to put in. How does that work out? Misa attempting a reset, but AMIX got the 2v1 advantage. And this is looking like a game over play. TGM was looking so good initially, but everything falls apart as AMIX stand tall and claim those 4 eliminations.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Sanic had no ammo. When he went round the corner, the clip was dry. It had run empty. Literally had no ammo in the mag, mate, and didn't know why he couldn't shoot him when he was standing on the stairs. That's a hell of a panic on that one. Nightmare fuel scenario. So it results in TGM losing out on a fight it felt like they had basically won. Went into that engagement very comfortably, but no, not happening here as they're dealt with. You can see towards the coastal line as well, a setup from Aurora there looking comfortable.
It seemed like Destine to Rise heard this fight happening. They read the elimination feed. They know a full squad got eliminated, and they know 2 players were flushed on the other team. They know this is a duo. It's not in circle. Do you want to take that risk? Seemed like for Ralph it might be the case, with the buggy going for the wide wraps, sending it south into Alamo itself. Nade cooked up, primed for default. Let's get a bit of damage. 2 back-to-back. It will not connect default with a jump shot on the DBS. What a huge engage. Can the duo take it home once again? Bring it up to 8. Eliminations total. There's a possibility. Darling also going for the wide wraparound over to the west. So many misplays happen in this compound. It was being very critical, but it's going to be Havlik. First to 4 on the duo, down to default in the clutch scenario. In a very nadeable building. He's got to be on the move, got to be on the pivot. As the blue engulfs the area, adding an extra time factor to the equation. The default's been looking so good with the DBS in the past. Will it be enough? As over, actually another third party's unfolding. Jackie is just non-stop here. 27 plus, one a piece of the compound.
Everyone wants to fight, it seems, and the shots are on target from all sides. Havlik eventually expires to D2R that pull up, and then 27 plus next in line to find their way through the party. But will the bouncers deny them entry? Can D2R hold them back? Good shots from Ruzen, primed on target as Betts bites the bullet literally and falls over. So it gets incredibly comfortable there. Everyone hearing this dinner bell being rung. And for D2R, they might want to just cut their losses on it, realizing it's not worth the risk of losing any more stock here. Yeah, mate, everyone's coming over.
What's going on in Alamo? It's not even in circle. And actually, Destined to Rise were in shelter, and it's literally dead center of Circle 3. Why did they leave such a great nest they created for themselves, a nest of safety, to go fight not even in the circle? Big head scratcher there, not sure what's really happening. As Destined to Rise, yeah, you can see on the elimination feed, down to just a solo. And I think that here, as he's surrounded by players of 27 plus and Ozarox, things are looking quite grim. As Aurora, though, one knock does come out. But they are dead center of the circle. They went for one of those big Hail Mary sends, Jackie. Luckily enough, though, it did not result in a flush, so they're going to remain as a full squad in a very strong position on this circle. This could be the smash coming up if they can survive even more going into Circle 4.
Yeah, if they can get themselves into a late game finish, it could be absolutely massive for them. Now, Aurora took a little bit of damage and did have one player knocked, but they've been able to pick him back up, so they're still a four-man squad for now. Tommy there from Avalanche getting the adjustments back over as well and being able to light up another team. So many squads that could expire out towards the blue that have been just fighting on top of each other. Crates on top of crates as they're all losing their grasp. Consistently just trying to tag in the next team. It's still going.
It's not a good position. It doesn't make any sense to me. There are so many good available options in the playable area. And yet they're just hungry for eliminations. I think it is also a knockoff effect in a way that some teams just kind of gave up hope, which is not great. I wish they had the mentality of just keep on going, trying to get that price will increase. But some teams just maybe just going a bit more, let's just send it because why the hell not? We're not making in top 4. And we've seen that kind of a desperate attempt at getting these fights going. As Ozarox, though, will try and think better of it. Will go back into their vehicles, going for the wide northern rotate. Actually do spot that airdrop. What is it going to be? EBS swap going to pick up the P90 that we saw right last game was such an absolute menace. And this time it's going to be in the hands of Leon of Ozarox.
Mate, could be a real big backbone of a weapon to put to use. But we'll see if Ozarox can cook with it. TT Project on the wrap back around towards the row side, get themselves back in the zone and get moving down towards the commotion that's happening. It's a good center circle set up from Aurora as well right now, as they've been able to sit pretty and get the full heal back on their teammate that went down a couple minutes ago. So we reached the 15-minute mark and they're still alive for now, in a decent position to try run the clock down on this game. Same could not be said for D2R, that forced their fights out in the blue with everyone ringing the dinner bell. And one by one, all the teams that went there have left broken and bruised. Ozarox, a similar squad that went in that direction, lost Bad Boy. They're down to a triple threat. Bullets being spat towards them. TT Project fighting ARCRED as they will achieve some nice damage towards them and make it a bit more uncomfortable for that side.
I mean, TT Project looking quite comfortable in the rankings. Sure, it's only a trio, but they only need 4 more points to join Aurora in the Smash Zone. But will they be able to join them? Because Aurora still are a full squad and they're dead center of this circle on the outskirts of Lumberyard next to Milton Shelter. And they got a great compound. It's going to be Squad House on that ridge line. TT Project, though, a bit of a risky push here inside of Shelter itself. They don't know where the players are parked up. It's a risky push and they will get punished. 1 down, 2 down, down to Effie's. And as a solo, getting 4 points in a lobby that still has 42 players alive is not looking too good. It's looking quite dire, in fact, as he's getting full on chased. Ozarox not going to be taking any prisoners with a P90 of Leon. That will be the end of the line. TT Project, again, failing to make their way into the Smash Zone. This is a great opportunity for the likes of Goat Team and Vicious.
Yeah, this is a brilliant position, mate. Dream scenario now to try and climb on this one. So let's see what they can do. Atomic, with his eyes lighting up, finds another member of Ozarox, and they are down to a duo. So it's getting worse for wear there. Oh, Fearless up top side as well. Good. Finds the angle on the peak. Hardboy unable to tuck into cover. Star panicking. Oh, mate. Somehow dodges the shots to tuck back in towards shelter, but they might just send Atomic cratering down to chase him and see if they can force him out of that mole hole that he's playing inside of. Fleek up on the hill, now just a sacrifice, but DG77 are hearing all of this, so they've got a better read onto what's going on over towards the entry to shelter, and Star can just set up, he can just play and see if you push down now.
It's going into stage 5, so he's going to use up a lot of meds just to survive and get maybe a placement point. We are top 10, right? So only 2 more teams to get eliminated, and we are going to see those placement points coming out for these teams that are remaining. Star looking to peek. Yeah, he knows with that blue zone damage is a bit too much to bear. The nades looking primed perfectly. And actually, it's going to be even the Molotov of Atomic to kind of put the nail in the coffin and wrap it up in style for the Uzbekistan team. It's now 9 squads are left in this lobby. And in particular, you talked about DG, right, looking to fight onto Champions, but I think they read the elimination feed really well, saw that Champions were fully unwounded off the back of that engage. Not really worth it. We still have a compound in zone. If they were down to maybe just a duo or even just a solo player, then they would definitely commit. That is the DG we know and love. But this one is just not worth the effort. A circle shifts once again, and a team that is in zone. There's only 2 teams in a circle here. It's going to be GOAT Team and Aurora Gaming, left stranded and looking to go hard on that win.
Yeah, both of them with their fingers crossed that they can close it here. You forget about Aurora, you forget about a GOAT. The other teams will come back kicking themselves if they do. Nades in. Fearless with the backstab there. Good adjustment onto Ravio as he will fall pre-pod with a sideline shot as well. That's DG still getting stuck into the mud, letting everyone just whittle each other down as they throw all of their investment at each other on this hillside battle. Demo sprinting from cover to cover, eyes finding the targets, but he's not able to deliver swift death on them as they will be able to turn their attention, and Misha will handle that encounter. Instantly goes for the pickup play on his mate as well, so Afterlife can try and get themselves back up and live to fight another day.
Of a perilous situation for Afterlife, because yet DG are there. Now this is worth it. Now they know they have that man advantage and they can leverage it for themselves to claim more real estate up north. The blue zone going to be ticking hard, trying to rush his way through. Misha not even trying to get into the car, just trying to run his way, sprint into the zone. But up north, Aurora are set up beautifully on these rocks. A little bit of extra elevation actually with that kind of rocky terrain to see Avalanche, to see DG77, to see the remaining players of Afterlife. They still got 0 eliminations, which is the way you want to do it. Again, a low elimination chicken dinner is still a chicken dinner and would be enough to convert it into a smash and become your PMGO EECA champions. They don't need to get involved in the fight that would make it risky for you to get that win.
No, they ain't got to do anything but just sit and wait. The more squads that go down, the weaker they are, the better it is for them on this one. Windy on the move here as Afterlife hold on by the smallest Fred. At least 2 players alive. They're going to wrap round the backhand side and possibly run down towards the angle that's in play of Avalanche if they keep moving on this trajectory. GOAT team could be forced to fight soon as well. Once that zone starts to shuffle. Ooh, Reefers. We cut to his POV and see that they're able to find the Avalanche squad that are getting a little bit too close to comfort and do put some bullets down range. So many teams nearby, though. Don't outstay your welcome.
It's even fine if they don't get the flushes. All you really want to do is just zone teams away and make it known that that push is not going to happen. You go for it. We're just fully ready to fight you. So overall, good game plan as zoning them back, though Windy and Misha were able to kind of lick their wounds up north in the blue zone and make their way into the playable area. And you see Aurora actually going slightly more on the low ground, which top, if you get spotted by Misha, could get a bit risky. There's a circle moving away. No one is in the play zone except for 6th player from 777. And it's going to be on the ground, just going low towards Milter Fields. This is literally on this circle, Jackie, the worst situation imaginable. Every team forced to go for a quick rotation. You need to gatekeep the sides of this zone. In particular, if you're Aurora or GOAT team, if you want to have good success, and it will be Windy spotted eventually. But yeah, you got to keep fighting and clear the space around you because this circle is hell on earth.
Yeah, what was a good setup for some of these teams for so long suddenly just disappears in the palm of your hand, and you're left scratching your head about how to contend with this one. Molodoy on the move down the hillside. Avalanche still standing, still able to fight after picking off one of the members of Afterlife. So they're left with just that solo. It's not too much stock in their camp whatsoever. Far harder position to be in now for these teams. And Aurora, when do they take their leave? When do they make a move? They're just keeping themselves smoked in and safe for now. Zone starting to whittle away some of the other players as Mad will get caught. DG77 might crash up towards it as well. So Aurora in a sandwich between Avalanche and DG77. But of all teams, it's GOAT that fire a few rounds up towards Prepod and enable that first knock.
It might look a bit weird on the map feed, but Misha sure has got the same color as Aurora, almost. But I can tell you, he's an enemy. He's not their 5th player. So that could really just kind of ruin their opportunity of survival. As they are barely in play zone for some of the players on the more southern edge, but they do spot Misha. I think they heard maybe an audio cue. So they're going to be putting their focus on now 3 teams. There's Avalanche to the east, DG77 to the west, and 1 solo up north. Not a comfortable position, but DG looking to just leave the vicinity entirely, sending it deep in this circle over to the rock formation, and Aurora instantly trying to shut down that rotate, though no knock will be found. And Avalanche doing a great play too, sending out to DG. This is literally the perfect setup for Aurora. Jackie maybe being gifted the perfect off angle, and the eliminations just flooding the way of Aurora.
They absolutely farm them. Everyone crashes on top of one another and they throw away that great position they had for so long. Both teams that could have closed out Aurora sacrificed themselves against one another and are now trapped with a tiny amount of cover to play with nades landing on top of them. It's only Nomi left from DG77. The man from Afterlife was flushed out in amidst all this chaos as well. So the question of how Aurora would survive those 3 squads, well, they extinguished themselves.
I was so confused, the fact they're going for it, but they don't know this is Aurora, right? Chances are they have no idea which team this is up there. And because of that, might just have gifted the trophy to the Mongolian super team. And they still have vehicles in working condition. Making that push is going to be great because the only kind of cover you have in this circle is that one big boulder where DG sent it with the likes of Avalanche. But now that position's been cleared almost fully. Only Nomi stands over there. And the only squads that could be a real threat to this win for them is going to be GOAT and Vicious, and also 777 in this situation. 3 full teams and a solo in Nomi. And all that stands between Aurora Gaming and the win here in PMGO ECA Season 1. They make it to the rock looking for Nomi.
Dark looking to just close it. Goes around the corner with a nade primed. There's the close engagement. Ooh, quick shot back. He got the knock, but they can still save the dock. Ironic, he's going to be the one picked back up, but a hell of a position to be in now. Aurora with 4 players still standing. Top up on the hillside, armed with weapons he's very capable with. Let's see if he can deliver some swift death.
He's got over 500 bullets with the MK12. That's more than enough. Okay, just spray the entire match. He can shoot until the end game, and you know what? He might still have some bullets to spare. He was really going hard on that looting stage. So here you go. Vicious, 777, clashing fully over there in the fields of Milter. It's going to look tough, and this is looking like a clean setup. It's going to be down to GOAT team to defend it. If they can maybe delay this tournament a bit further. It's over in the shed here. So many players knocked, but Koa will be looking to save his brother of Icy. Been just such a positive aspect of this team. As Aurora get the opening one again, it's going to be Doc for the dub. Getting one onto Force, looking for the flush. Can't quite get it just yet. as he goes on that second spray down, and that is going to be an extra elimination as GOAT team get fully eliminated. I was going to say, Jackie, this was the only team that could compete for the win from that high ground position. They're now out of the equation. It's 3 teams left, 777, Vicious, and a full squad of Aurora Gaming.
Oh, and the Vicious get hit from the sideline. Top, you said he had 500 rounds of ammo. Already 50 of them have been spent because he's been shooting players down as he keeps tapping away. You peek, he's going to put you in an early grave. This could be the Aurora victory if they can keep their heads switched on. So close to greatness, fingertips grabbing at it. Nothing is granted, but this team has earned everything over the past few days, Max. And now all it would take is one final play here in the head-to-head between them, 777, and the Vicious. And they could close it down with a smash rule victory. Another knock onto Narvalo. But where does it go from here?
Oh, and also Reefus getting some big numbers, looking to join the MVP gang. He's the only one on this team that's yet to claim an MVP title. And if he gets the win here, chances are he might be crowned our tournament MVP. Aurora, I would say, got to be careful not to split too far apart. Vicious still have a monster. The nade of Reefus, the 1v4 from a range. And this might just be the nail in the coffin. Out of nowhere, Reefus showing he's one of the best of Mongolia as he makes his way into the play zone, looking to end this tournament with a smash.
Unbelievable scenes. Lines them up and knocks them down. The god hand of Reefus delivering as he makes a fist and punches through the Vicious. It's only 777 that remains, but I don't think this will be a jackpot for them as the Joker has been played. And it is Aurora looking to close it here. All it would take is one more shutdown. They could win it off the back of this game, Max. Let's see if it's possible. The collapse from 777. They drive up. Doc unleashes the magazine onto one. He's low on health, but he's got backup, and the rest of 777 is crumbling under the pressure. Nade over the top side. They're low on health as Reefus once again delivers his second big nade of this game. If they can just find it, that will be the tournament going their way. They've done it. Aurora are your champions.
3 games is all they needed to convert the win. 777 disappointed after that performance. They just didn't have the opportunity of a comeback because the tournament ends early. 3 games taken out of the final day of the Grand Finals, and indeed Aurora Gaming will be crowned your PMGO EECA Grand Champions here of Season 1 and will be making it to Jakarta for the LAN event.
Mate, Reefus, you said it so many days ago, Max, singing his praises, saying he's the unsung hero, someone you wanted to see, really given his flowers for how much work he's put in. That nade was the icing on the cake for an incredible tournament that he's played. Unbelievable. Watching it with my mouth agape to see him blow everyone up. The Vicious went down, and Aurora, well, they smashed through the competition, but hell of a play.
That grenade is going to go down in PUBG Mobile Esports history. What a move. What a chuck. No one is going to say Kobe anymore. Everyone's going to say Reefus on those grenade throws. What a play indeed. And really, the moment the GOAT team went down, I was like, yeah, it's looking game over. The man did not need to flex that hard to wrap up the win, as all of these players walking out in triumph, victorious in this event. They've had some shaky starts, but that is the typical Aurora way as they come back stronger towards the later stages, walking towards this trophy and looking like the absolute menace in Eastern Europe and Central Asia.
Absolutely, bud. The champions, there they are. The legends themselves, Aurora Gaming.
Even East joining the roster. He's on the bench, but the man also, you know, is ready to play if he needs to. Deserving to be also here next to his comrades. This 5-man team making history. The only thing this team needs would be to win a global trophy. And you know what? With the way they're playing right now, that is definitely in the cards for 2026.
The Infinix phones themselves being awarded to our championship team here. by the amazing partners manager, of course, from the CIS region. You could see everyone very proud of themselves. The trophy lift of celebration, a tournament where they fought hard, Max. They had some ups, they had some downs, but now more than ever, they go to show why they are not just individually talented. They are also a multi-talented team that can do it in the fight, do it in closing, and absolutely do it in style.
Oh, big thumbs up there also for this team. But build a history lesson. This is the team that, sure, it was different rosters, but some of the members back on 4 MIRACL Vibe won the CSA region back to back to back, even as they transitioned into the Alpha Gaming organization. And then they lost it in the full season of last year, Jackie, to the hands of Virtus Pro. And it was time for them to reclaim that crown. And they did it in the most insane way possible with the nade of Reefus to call it a day. And they're going to celebrate by taking that selfie with the Infinix GT50 Pro. But what a storyline. Truly the kings of this region. No one is even close.
There you go. Selfie from either side. Make sure you get everyone's good angles. But I tell you what, mate, I don't think Aurora have bad angles. We saw the way they were peaking on that game, and they looked beautiful. Some great connections, great shots, and even better nades. And there you are again. Get the trophy lift in, soak in that moment, and absolutely enjoy it, Max.
What a crazy turn of events. The only team to get into the Smash Zone, and they end it early. No one able to even join them over there at the very top of these rankings. But there's still one question we need to answer, which is, does Reefus indeed secure that MVP title? Because meaning every player on the core roster of this team of Aurora would be an MVP on some scale. You have global MVPs, you have regional MVPs. This would be one of the rosters after that that goes down in history as one of the best to ever be in the scene of PUBG Mobile Esports.
I'm really curious about where all these awards go, but mate, if it was up to me, I would give it to him hands down, because honestly, not only was that nade legitimately an MVP-worthy play, it's how he's played throughout the whole event, and he will get it. There you go. Our MVP award to Reefus, deserved through and through. I think both of us align on this one, man. There's no way anyone else deserved it with how good he was this event.
Yeah, I was seeing the chat. People were doubting Reefus at the start of this tournament, saying he was a bit shaky. But you know what? He shut up every single one of his haters. Reefus standing up in stride and will be securing himself, of course, that MVP award brought to you by Infinix once again. Does that mean he gets 2 phones? I guess
He's got
so.
2 phones now.
Akimbo
yeah.
Infinix.
God damn, he's going to be winning 2 games back-to-back with a phone in each hand. The MVP prize and the Champions prize. There you go. Infinix supplying Aurora with the goods there as he gets his treat. Shout out Reefus one time. Tell you what, Max, basically that nade was the embodiment of him blowing the haters away. He said, watch this. And that's how he gets his MVP.
And he's like, wait, is that a hate comment over there? There you go. Easy elimination, but genuinely a game-winning grenade. Usually on this roster, when we talk about grenades, you think about Doc, right? The guy for the past 2 years and a half, it feels like, is just the grenade king of the previous CSA region, now EECA. But no, it feels like that mantle has been now gifted to Reefus. I genuinely couldn't be any happier about this result. People say I'm a little bit biased. I do have a bit of a sweet spot for some of the members of Aurora because I've been watching them for years now, and seeing this team, some OG players that have been here since the inception of this esports, Jackie, like Top in particular, still doing well to this day in the big old 2026 is an insane storyline that I just cannot wait to see how it's going to go in the next events to come.
Yeah, boy. Let's have a look then at the overall rankings. Here you go. Aurora in first place, your champions, of course, with 145 points. But this is the big ticket item for me. The grassroots scene rising of GOAT Team. Second place finish in finals, Max. They not only grind through the Club Open, through the opening game qualifiers, but they're going to bloody Jakarta.
Oh, so good to see it. Aurora, GOAT Team, Vicious, and TT Project will indeed be representing EECA in Jakarta for PMGO Main Event Season 1. But a little bit unfortunate for DG77, a team that I think a lot of people kind of pinned as a favorite in this event. But there is going to be a bit of an upset here echoing throughout the arena. As the second page, still, some teams did tend to falter a little bit, but we see glimmers of hope from so many of these rosters, right, Jackie? The back-to-back-to-back second places of Mad, Avalanche's insane chicken dinner over on Rondo. Everyone here put up some big numbers. As your daily MVP, though, will be fearless with the P90 from good old champions.
Yeah, it kind of feels a little bit more sour, doesn't it, when you're the daily MVP, when you've just seen Reefus be the event MVP. But we'll give him his flowers. He is our Infinix daily MVP on this one with how he was playing. P90 pop-offs, but it wasn't enough. I mean, maybe if there would have been more games, champions could have tried to tussle for a top spot. But Aurora said, nah, we've had enough. We want a calmer day. And they lopped the head off in our third match.
Still, really good attempt from so many of these squads. But Fearless, Kino, I still believe that for champions, there's so much raw, untapped potential in this team. It's just about the early stage. I think, genuinely, if they fix the early stage where they lose a player or two, this roster could have been in top 4, and I wouldn't even bat an eye at that kind of situation, at that ending result from this roster. So hopefully they don't get too demoralized off the back of that and come back even stronger in the full season of 2026. But yeah, as you said, a little bit unfortunate though. There's no Infinix phone provided for your daily MVP. It's the overall MVP, and that is going to be none other than Reefus himself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he doesn't need free phones, does he?
He's going to come back in the full season like bet. He's just going to have he's going to make Reefus Esports. All he needs is himself and 4 Infinix devices. Ooh.
He's almost there. He's honestly almost there, mate. You know, yeah. Honestly, it wouldn't even be that bad. With how he's played, I think he could handle it. It'd be quick, jumping between